Hey YouTube. So I thought I'd show you what this was for. This is the motor bell for an Alien Power C80100 Outrunner. This is a stator for it. Anyway, I made this disc right here out of the prop adapter that went on top of the motor. So it was already there, so all I had to do was cut off the top of the thing, mill this top flat, and then around the perimeter you can see those set screws. So again, I used the index block to do that, and then I was able to use the drill press just for drilling holes. Made 4 holes around the perimeter. Actually, you know what? That's not how I did this. So I've made another tool that uses my my wood lathe. So I have a jet, I don't know what it is, jet lathe, and it's got index points on the shaft. And I mounted this in a chuck on there, and I was able to rotate the thing, lock the shaft, and then with my cordless drill those perimeter holes on there. So I did not do that on the drill press. And then of course they're tapped for M5s, and right there you can see the there's a shaft set screw that came in the bell, and then there's this added one. So across the top you can see that there are 4 screws that I've added into this reinforcing disc. And here's the shaft. So this longer section catches that hole down there that's in the bell, and then the top portion, where these 4 flats roll around, that catches my reinforcing disc. So that's what we're talking about there when I made this thing. So I did this too. This is also for the same motor. Push this bell out of the way. So this is something that I did on the drill press with the rotary table and the 3-jaw chuck. These 4 holes right here, they take M5 screws that go into those 4 holes right there. So that's the same bolt pattern. All I had to do to make that was, and this is super easy, if you have a rotary table and you have a 3-jaw chuck, all I did was chuck this up, or all I did was tighten this up in the 3-jaw chuck. And then I moved the table to the point where my little centering tool, which I've shown you in a previous video, simple thing to make, lined up with that hole. So once I had one, then I was able to look at the scale on the side of the rotary table, and I rotated this little bit so that it came out to like an exact number, so that was like 0 degrees, say. And then all I had to do from that was not touch anything other than to rotate the whole table 90 degrees, another 90 degrees, another 90 degrees, and that got that hole pattern. And so what I did was I chucked it up first to get that spacing right there from off center, and then I chucked this up and did the same thing, and all I had to do was drill those holes, and they were in the exact same spots. As a result, same diameter as those ones. Piece of cake, super easy to do, took minutes to do. And since I had the thing chucked up, milled out the center hole, which is about 14 millimeters across, don't really care too much. And also these are vent holes around it, and so there's 12 of those around. So obviously the measurements are a little bit smaller than these ones. They're not 90s, whatever that is, I forget. But same thing. All I had to do was say start here, run the drill press down, drill a hole, move over whatever these increments are, I forget, and drill another hole. And as you can see, I got this fantastic pattern on there. I mean, looks absolutely brilliant. So this was his old, this is for a friend, by the way. This was his, he had a brushed motor on his scooter, and I have taken this project on to help him out. So he sent me his old motor shell, and I knocked the 4 ceramic magnets out of the inside, cleaned it all up. This bottom edge here had a lip on it, so I milled that off. So this whole thing was mounted in my 3-jaw chuck on top of the rotary table to make that. You can't see it now, but you'll notice this edge right here. It's about half the thickness of that edge, and that's because I milled a shoulder inside here that is 1/4 inch deep and half the thickness of this wall, so that this piece, this aluminum piece, could be interference fit down inside there. And then just to be sure that it really was going to work, I mounted this whole thing on my lathe just so I could use those index points, so that I could then drill these holes here, and there's 2 more over there. so that then I could put some, I forget what these are, I think those are M5s, into here, so that there is no way in hell, despite the fact that's an interference fit, that this disc is ever going to spin inside his old motor shell. Now he can use that as his motor bracket, put the outrunner, which is like, 10 times more powerful than that brushed motor he had, put it right back in the exact same spot and have a hell of a lot more power. So anyway, yeah, fun little project, and did all of that on my drill press.